most efficient for power and spatialization, highest density, industry standard compatibility, and allowing you to have choice where you plug it in, when you plug it in, what you use, and continue to increase the value of anything that you've installed already. So with that, it really brings the essence of what the cloud computing, cloud networks specifically, are driving at as a disruptive technology. Some of the factors, some of the efficiency, and management is one of them. So I'd like to leave you with one last thought and challenge. That's a quote from Trip Hawkins, an entrepreneur in the industry of gaming. And his comment is, any big change is more likely to result if there is a disruptive event, disruptive technology. And only with that disruptive technology can we have surprisingly big results. I don't know about you, but I know I want to strive for big, better, best. And I'd like to thank you for your time, challenge you to take on that disruptive technology. You know, shake away the fear or the hesitation for implementing disruptive technology, because that's how you can win the big jackpot. Thank you.
Session, can I please invite Chris on stage, please? The panelists in this session are, along with Chris and Professor Sadagopan, we have P. Chakrapani, CIO of Tata Sky, Mr. Avinash Arora, New Holland Fiat, Karen Fay, Karen, if you'd like to come back, please. Mr. Anthony McMahon, he's a Vice President APJ for HP Software, and Sanjay Gupta, our wife. Please put your hands together for the panel. Chris, I'm going to hand it over to you.
First thing that comes to my mind is what is being disrupted, or maybe who's being disrupted. And this isn't about picking a technology that's on some cool vendor list. You know, this isn't about saying, gee, Web 2.0, cloud, social media, whatever. This is what all the analysts, press, vendor, this is what people are hyping, so I better jump on it. This is about figuring out from a business perspective where you want to drive some opportunities, some change, or possibly get some really tangible benefit. We talked a lot about costs, but really this is about, let's see here. About things like changing cost structures. I think Karen had a nice chart that showed exponential change versus incremental change. What we're looking for is are things that can create exponential change, but at the same time, you can't just go seeking that. It sort of finds you. So we talked yesterday a little bit about this innovation capability. That's one way that you can find some of these things, by having a measured, explicit innovation function that can help you look for these opportunities driven by the business priorities, not driven by a list of cool technologies or emerging technologies. If you do it that way, you'll waste a lot of time and money. It's got to be driven by the business opportunities. If you have a customer service issue or an opportunity, that's where you focus your efforts. If you have a supply chain problem, you look for opportunities to improve that in a dramatic fashion. That's what this disruptive stuff is all about. It's not about pursuing individual technologies, because those change all the time. You're going to want to experiment with multiple kinds of technologies. In fact, the interesting examples of disruption, I think we've talked about a couple of them here. are not just single technologies, but individual technologies combined together in a disruptive way. So one that I like to talk about is Amazon, because it really changed the way that people shop. For you, maybe Make My Trip or Yatra.com, in terms of the way that you approach booking travel. Before, you went to a travel agent, you picked up the phone, you did whatever. You don't do that anymore. You use these internet technologies and these sites that really transform the way that you think about travel. So these aren't individual technologies. There's some combination of technologies and some thinking and business process and policy. All these things together create the disruption in the market. It's not just an individual technology. Now, of course, we may see down the road that e-books are an example of something that changes the way that we consume information. We're not there yet. We may find that cloud computing fundamentally changes the cost structure of computing. We don't know yet. But some of these things we need to get in front of so we understand how they impact our businesses. So anyway, what I'd like to throw out here is a little framework here that says, what are we trying to address here? The way that we access our customers, the way that we serve our customers. Are we looking for new products? Or are we looking to extend our products? And are we looking for a change in cost structure or new growth? This is the kind of disruption. If you think about the areas that you want to innovate and look for those disruptive ideas, where do your specific companies and your situations fall in this chart? And so what I'd like to do is ask the panelists in their own context, in their own ways, to help us understand where they're seeing the disruption from a business perspective, where the technologies can help us apply to our own business problems to look for these. Because I think that over time, we'll see some things that emerge as exponential change and literally disrupt our businesses, and others will just be incremental benefit and won't really disrupt anything. It'll just be adding a new piece to the puzzle. So with that, Avinash, maybe you can share some thoughts.
Thank you and good evening. I would like to share a couple of practical examples which we have implemented. Not a big technology. I am basically a person who does not believe spending huge millions of dollars and then bring out business. I'll just take you a little behind about how we in New Holland have done certain simple technological applications, little differently, little innovative way, and bringing value to business. Before I get into it, let me give you a background. When we were one of the late entrants in the industry in India, we started somewhere in 1999, probably the last company to enter into Indian tractor business. There were companies who were there for almost more than 20-25 years, established very well, and it was very difficult for us to really penetrate. So the challenge was, how do we build up our network, how do we position ourselves, and how do we gain a market share or a positioning where we are recognized that yes, we are there in the market. Having the world-class technology behind us from Case New Holland, and we started with a higher HP tractor, a very small segment, and within 1 year's time, our market share was almost like 20%. Because in that segment, no one was there. Very few, except I think Mahindra or maybe one more company, no one was there. But the challenge was that how do we create a address to the mass market? Now, having implemented an ERP system which was well within the four walls and was delivering the value to the business,